Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and esteemed guests. Trust in the process. My identity is in a lot of things. Mostly, my God, I have identity in Him. I have identity with my family. I have core passions that I really I just love to do. I love to run. I love to be with people. I love to play music. But this running thing lately has been the top of the list. I've been spending more time running than doing anything. It's part of who I am. I love to run. I get away when I run. I get to think when I run. I get to do a lot of things. And part of who I am has to do with the time I spend running and the time I spend alone. Well, I don't know what got into me, but I made a decision this last year to run a race, to run 50K. I could buy a dog like Rachel did, or I could run a 50K. I decided to run a 50K. Why did I do that? Because I love to run. It's part of who I am. So I want to talk to you about three things that reveal who I am in this process, and running, and part of my identity is in running. First thing I want to talk to you about is I want to talk to you about a decision to run 50K. Why would anybody do that? I have no idea. But I did. The second thing was overcoming injury, which comes right after you make a decision to run a 50K. And the third thing is trusting in the process. I have not yet run this race, so I'm talking to you from the standpoint of not a victory, not saying I've done it, but there's been enough go on in the decision process and the injury process and the trusting in the process that now I'm ready to talk to you about that part of my life, because it's been consuming me for about 3 months now. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about was making the decision to run 50K. Quite honestly, it's a bucket list thing. It's a bucket list opportunity for me to tell my kids I've done it, to show them what it means to make a decision to do something and follow through with it. To not just dream about something, but to actually put feet to it and do it. So it takes a lot of time to train for a 50K. 50K, by the way, is 30 miles. Depending on the race you do, it could be anywhere from 30 to 36 miles, depending on the race. They say 50K, some of them lie about it. Because if they told you the actual truth, you may not do it. So this one is going to be held outside of Cool, California, down outside of Auburn, California. And it's really actually, from what I've heard, it's a very fun race. It's called Way Too Cool. So it's a very popular race, and there's about 1,100 people going to run this race. So a bunch of us from Reno that are in a running club are going down to participate in this really fun event that I can't wait to do. And I know you guys are all looking at me like, why would you ever want to run 30 miles? Because I love to do it, that's why. Like I said, if I could own a dog, great. That would give me a lot more satisfaction than actually running, because if I had a dog to run with, I could actually talk to somebody. So anyway, I've made the decision to run this race. The second thing that happens after anybody runs a race, and I've run one race before, and that's a marathon, is that you experience injury. And the reason why you experience injury, I'm not talking into existence for anybody who wants to run a race, but when you start running miles that aren't normal for anyone to run, you experience things like you're not strong in an area. Like my rear end wasn't very strong to run the kind of miles I was running. So I got hurt. I got IT banned. If I could say what the acronym for IT is, I would say it. But it's this ring right here that flares up when you're not very strong right here. Makes sense?
Yes.
Go run 15 miles and you probably figure out what I'm talking about. The other thing I had was plantar fasciitis. Plantar fasciitis is the fascia on the bottom of your feet. They start to tear. They make tears. There's scar tissue. Scar tissue gets broken up. It hurts. It's an amazing thing. It's because of your feet not being strong enough. Pretty much all injury for anything you'd ever do in life has everything to do with strength, being strong in an area. So I got injured a couple years ago after training for the marathon. And so when I decided to do the 50K, I ran up against the same stuff again. the same injuries. This leads me to my third, which was trusting the process. Because I had to go to somebody and say, hey, I am hurt. What do I need to do? And then trusting and having faith that the process that they told me to do, the things that they had me do, the areas they wanted me to strengthen, would actually work. But when you're hurt, how many know that your faith is real low when you're hurt? Someone says, do these things and this will happen. So I started doing the exercises. I started doing what they call clamshells, where they put a rubber band around your knees and you land on the floor, and that strengthens a muscle that I figured out it doesn't get used when running. But if you don't strengthen that muscle, you tend to get hurt because it doesn't get used during running, so it doesn't ever get strengthened. You have to strengthen it on your own. I started doing feet exercises to strengthen my feet so I wouldn't have problems with my feet. I started doing all of these things that they told me to do, and I was very unbelieving at first. But I'm here to tell you that I've run my longest miles per week last week, 32 miles, no pain. I trusted in the process. I'm on the road. I cannot wait to run it. It's March 8th. I'm going to have a great time. I just wanted to let you in on a little bit of what I'm doing. So make a decision to do something like a 50K or own a dog. and then understand there could be injury. There could be a process that you have to trust. The third thing is trust that process. Thank you very much.